This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Louisville Metro Council of August 14, 2025. Please come to order. The time is currently 3 minutes after 6. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being held pursuant to KRS 61.826 and Council Rule 5A. Madam Clerk, a calling of the roll, please.
Councilmember Hawkins.
Present.
Councilmember Shanklin. Present. Councilmember Parrish-Wright. Councilmember Herndon.
Present.
Councilmember Purvis. Present. Councilmember Leninger.
Present.
Councilmember McCraney.
Here.
Councilmember Reno Weber. Councilmember Owen.
Here.
Councilmember Raymond. Here. Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Councilmember Joseph. Councilmember Syme.
Here.
Councilmember Bast.
Here.
Councilmember Chappell. Councilmember Reed. Councilmember Winkler. Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Piagentini. Councilmember Benson.
Present.
Councilmember Rui.
Here.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Here.
Councilmember Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Here.
Councilmember Batshon.
Here.
Council President Ackerson.
Here.
Mr. President, you have 22 and a quorum.
All right, Councilman Hudson, I believe you've got a special guest.
Is this on? Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to invite Nathan up to the podium here. At a time such as this, it's appropriate to talk about legacy. And if you look up legacy, it's defined as a long-lasting impact by one's actions over a period of time during their life. And we're going to recognize Nathan Mulvey as he retires from the Fern Creek Fire Department tonight. Just a few weeks ago, I was standing cutting a ribbon at the Fern Creek Community Center, which was originally built as the very first Fern Creek Fire Department 70 years ago. It consisted of one fire truck. The Fern Creek Fire Department has since moved next door and is now the fourth largest fire department in the state of Kentucky. And much of that legacy is due to Nathan Mulvey. And we're going to recognize that tonight. Nathan has had 32 years with the Fern Creek Fire Department. He has served on many boards and commissions for the state and influenced policy at the state and federal level for firefighters. And when you talk about legacy, I don't think you can be in this chamber and not recognize the legacy of Nathan's parents. Nathan is also the brother of one of our fellow council members, Jenny Mulvey Woolridge. So we want to recognize that legacy tonight, and I want to invite Jenny to come up and read the proclamation.
Thank you, Jeff. Before I do that, I just want to also say a few more things. So to say that I'm proud would be an understatement. Nathan, I don't know if you understand the impact that you have on the city of Louisville. So just to say that in this council, that you alone and the city and the part of Fern Creek touch a third of this council. That alone is huge impact. So what you have done goes beyond a line on the map. You've served our neighborhoods, our city, and our state. Like Jeff said, you've sat on committees and boards, mentored new fire chiefs, helped shape policies that will guide and protect generations well beyond ourselves. So thank you for that. If that's not enough, you've carried the missions to national stage, traveling to our capital. You stood before lawmakers, one that is here with us, thank you, Nemus. You stood before those lawmakers, you testified on behalf of the firefighters, chiefs, departments, and their families. So thank you for that. Little did you know that when you, in high school, when a kid in Fern Creek, you listened to your best friend Brad, who now happens to be my husband. You joined an Explorer post in the Fern Creek Fire Department, doing something that would change your life. At that time, you had no idea what was ahead of you. You had no idea that you would spend the next 3 decades rushing towards danger while others ran away. The sound of sirens would become the soundtrack of your life. You certainly didn't know that one day you would wear a badge of a chief, leading the very department where it began. Nathan, I've watched you grow from a teenage who just wanted to help to the leader who inspires, and I couldn't be prouder. Not just the work you've done, but the heart that you've put into every moment of service. I now know that Mom and Dad are also very proud of you. I, on behalf of Louisville Metro and District 2, 10, 20, 22, 23, 24, and 26, our council president, it is my deep honor to present you with a proclamation. Whereas Chief Nathan Mulvey has faithfully and honorably served the Fern Creek Fire and Emergency Medical Services, beginning his distinguished career in 1993, and whereas throughout his 32-year career, Chief Mulvey rose through his ranks with integrity and courage and played a pivotal role in shaping the future of Fern Creek Fire EMS, in implementing innovative programs, building strong community relations, and mentoring future leaders. And whereas Chief Mulvey leadership, Fern Creek Fire EMS achieved numerous historic milestones, including the incorporation of EMS services and successful merger with several neighboring departments, making Fern Creek Fire EMS the 4th largest fire department in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And whereas Chief Mulvey's dedication, vision, and tireless service have left an enduring legacy that will continue to influence the department and community for generations to come. And whereas Chief Mulvey has retired, concluding a remarkable career marked by exceptional leadership, commitment to public safety, and selfless service to others. Now therefore, be it resolved that we recognize and express heartfelt gratitude to Chief Nathan Mulvey for his extraordinary service to the Fern Creek community. We extend his best wishes for him for a well-deserved and fulfilling retirement. Proud of you. Want to say anything?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Obviously, I totally believe she wouldn't have gotten elected if she hadn't used my name. But, the reality is I got into this career looking for a family, looking for a group to connect with and build community with. And the reality is I had no idea that at the end of it all, it wouldn't just be about Fern Creek. It would be about Louisville and the state of Kentucky, and then the fire service as a whole and the EMS. And, I'm truly honored to have been able to carry that banner, so-called for public safety over the years. And I have been honored to work with such great leaders in our state legislation. Kevin Bratcher and I have worked together quite a bit. Jason Nemus and I have worked together quite a bit, and several others who are not here. But it's been a true honor to be able to represent not only the Fern Creek community, but Highview, Camp Taylor, Buchel, Newburgh, Audubon Park. I could go on and on now with all the mergers, but definitely feel blessed and thankful that even though I'm stepping away from the public sector and trying to figure out what private life is like, I'm proud of my little sister for continuing on and representing us very well. So thank you all for the acknowledgement, and I appreciate each of you.
So, Mr. President, if I may recognize two other guests in the audience. I've seen a lot of proclamations read, but I don't think I've seen one read that drew the state legislative minority whip to come and attend. So I'd like to welcome Minority Whip Jason Nemus, be recognized. And then Nathan's successor, Chief Scott Evans. Brother, you must feel like the dog that caught the bus. Best of luck to you and all the best. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Jason, you can get a picture with us? Sure.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Councilman Owen, I believe you've got some special guests.
Thank you, President Ackerson. So, last year, about this time, we were here recognizing the 2024 state champions in Kentucky for baseball. So this is going to be a little bit painful for my colleague, Councilman Batshon, but I'm sure he can handle it, so we're just going to keep moving forward. So I'm going to first read the proclamation. To all whom these letters shall come, greetings, know ye that the Louisville Metro Legislative Council hereby recognizes Trinity High School baseball team and congratulates the Shamrocks on being crowned the Kentucky State Champions of 2025. We hereby confer this recognition with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining in testimony whereof we have caused these letters to be made and the seal of the Metro government to be hereunto affixed. So the guys we have here, my understanding is, are all the guys that are coming back this year to defend that state title. And all the guys who were seniors on last year's team are off at college playing baseball at college. So I'm sure these guys have a lot to live up to, and I'm sure they're thinking, they're going to try to defend that state title. This is Coach Rick Arnold right here. And Rick, if you want to come up. Rick is an alumni of Trinity, 1986. And I will just say, and you might want to hold your ears here, it sounds to me like this year's win was a walk-off victory, 2-1 in the ninth inning. That's painful. That's really painful, but really cool for the winners. So this is Trinity's second state baseball championship, both under Coach Arnold here. I told him, most coaches, when they get up and talk about their team's season, they talk about the highs and the lows and, the journey and all the setbacks they had. This team went 38-3. So this team, I think, was a juggernaut from the very beginning. So congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Coach Arnold.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. First things first, congratulations, Chief, on your retirement. As a retired Metro Police Detective, Louisville Metro Police Detective, I can assure you, you never get away from the service. So thank you for what you've done, and congratulations and good luck in your retirement. Councilman Owen, thank you very much, and council, thank you all for having us here tonight. We're very flattered. I'm lucky to coach a great group of young men, many of whom aren't here because they're off in college playing baseball or doing things that they couldn't be here, reasons they couldn't be here. The one promise I'll make to everyone is that we will pay this honor forward with their continued community service to the city of Louisville in many ways, through school and through our baseball team. One of the great joys of coaching high school kids is the ability to see them grow outside of the work we put in on the field. And PRP is one of their coaches, he and I were co-captains in college at University of Louisville together, Coach Richie Hawks. They're good friends. They're great competitors. I know they think the same of us. So the fact that we were able to follow up losing to them last year and winning this year is a great honor and a great tribute to our kids and their persistence and their hard work. So thank you for your hard work, and we're very privileged to be here. And I think Harper Haven wants to say a couple things.
Point of privilege.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for having us here. We're very blessed to be in this position, to have the team that we had. It was a lot of fun. Going through the pressure of being such a good team, but also the pressure of winning. I think it was a lot of fun to be able to be on a group of guys for a few months that really came together. But in the end of the day, this is just something that we're super blessed to be able to do, and hopefully we'll be back here next year. So thank you all.
Point of privilege, Mr. President. Mr. President, point of privilege. Can I get 1 second? Gentlemen, Coach, great job. Congratulations. As some of you all know, that baseball is probably the one sport that you can do everything right and still fail. Congratulations on your victory. Yes, PRP is a great competitor with you, and I know that you all are friends. And as baseball, what I will say is a testament to Louisville as a whole, that we have excellent student athletes in the game of baseball, great coaches in the game of baseball, great ball club. Good job, guys. Congratulations.
All right, ready? Everyone looks up here. 1, 2, 3.
And Owen was almost the shortest guy in the group.
Councilwoman Shanklin, I believe you've got some guests.
Can you guys come on up? You're going to read it. I think she's harassing me. Sit down. It's on? It's on. Okay. It's on. Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm just here to brag a little bit. Newburgh won the Dirt Bowl, and I was so excited. First time I've ever been to the Dirt Bowl, and Councilwoman Hawkins drug me down there. She came to the house and said, "Oh, you got to go." And once I got down there, I really had a good time. Jennifer was there. It was quite a few. Ken was there. And I just was so excited because we actually won it all. So I just want to brag. Now, it's in Donna Purvis's district, and I wanted to make sure that she got credit for it. But I also wanted Councilman Hawkins to come on down because she was the one that drug me down there. So, thank you. You can read the proclamation.
So, like Barbara said, the Dirt Bowl is held in Shawnee Park, which is in District 5. You all really missed a treat. Councilwoman Hawkins did extend an invitation to everyone, and I'm glad that those that could come out did come out. Jennifer, Deputy Mayor, the Mayor, it was Ken. Did I miss anybody? I don't know. Hopefully next year, all of you all will show up. This was the 56th year of the Dirt Bowl. Basketball has put Louisville and Kentucky on the map, and we have some great talent here locally, as we saw exhibit that Sunday, August, 3rd. They beat a team called Gods of the Court that had not been beaten all Dirt Bowl season. And so they managed to hurt their pride that day. So Councilwoman Shanklin has a resolution. Either she can read it or Councilwoman Hawkins can read it.
You can read it down. It's your district. Do you want to read it?
Okay. Louisville Metro Council, to all whom these letters shall come, greetings. Know ye that the Legislative Council of the Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government hereby recognizes and honors Low Key Lifestyle Team of Newburgh, winners of the 2025 Annual Louisville Dirt Bowl. In celebration of this day, we hereby confer the honor with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. In testimony whereof, we have caused these letters to be made and the seal of the Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government to be hereunto affixed. Done in Louisville, Kentucky, this 14th day of August 2025, Dr. Barbara E. Shanklin, 2nd District Councilwoman. Thank you.
First, I'm going to say that the Dirt Bowl started in Algonquin years ago, but, doing the redistricting and all of that, of course, in the Dirt, they moved it to Councilman Purvis's district. I want to say that the Dirt Bowl is historic, and the Dirt Bowl is just more than a series of 8 weeks basketball. The Dirt Bowl is the example of what Office of the Violence Prevention should look like. You got community members from every district that plays in the Dirt Bowl. That's what community engagement, police engagement, it's all right there for 8 weeks. And for those that didn't show up, I'm going to challenge you next year to show up. It is something unbelievable. 8 weeks. No homicides. No fights. Police sitting around eating Twinkies. I want to say thank you. These guys did a phenomenal job. It's 18 teams in the Dirt Bowl from all over the city. And Barbara Shanklin team took the trophy home. So I just want to say thank you. I thought this would be something great. Of course, I got Barbara out the house and her team won. I can't leave out my other colleague, Councilman Herndon. He had a team. Everybody has a team in the Dirt Bowl, believe it or not. It's something that I would love for everybody to, if you have not experienced the Dirt Bowl, they had a section right there for us. The mayor was there. What you've never experienced, you just don't know. So I just want to say thank you to these guys for being that vessel that our youth needs. You guys have been the example for 8 weeks. So I just want to say thank you. on the behalf of District 1. And thank you to my colleagues and Councilman Purvis for always making sure that the Dirt Bowl is a success since it's been in there. And congratulations to my colleague, Councilman Shanklin, for your, productive team that won.
Thank you. You want to take a picture?
Yeah, did one of you all want to say something?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the Dirt Bowl.
Well, hold on one second. Councilman Reed, I believe you want a point of personal
Yeah,
privilege.
a point of privilege.
Councilman
Number one, congratulations. Thank you. And I remember the Dirt Bowl when I was a kid with the likes of Darrell Griffith and Wesley Cox and Bobby Turner and Rudy Macklin. I mean, some great players. But I don't know if you knew this or not, but we also have some great athletes on the Metro Council.
Let's play
We just won, we just beat the mayor's team in volleyball. So I think next year, we were being challenged, to get active, something, and Reno Weber can play center. I know that Councilwoman Chappell's a great athlete. You got Tony Piagentini, Andrew Owen, me at point guard, so. We're throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
We're coming to get you next year. No, thank you very much. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank y'all for I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
it's okay. It's kind of awkward because you guys are the guests of honor. I just wanted to say congratulations. It was really wonderful to see you all play basketball. I also want to say congratulations to the ladies because they played right before you all and they really threw down as well. And I just want to say it was a pleasure and honor to sit there next to Mr. Cornell Bradley and listen to him announce. That was so wonderful. And I wish I could deliver it the same way, but like Megatron, that was you, right? Yeah, we had such a great time at the Dirt Bowl, and so thank you just to the community for opening their park and being so lovely and wonderful. And next year we're gonna get Ms. Shanklin out there doing the Cupid Shuffle in the middle of the court, or something.
They tried.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. That's where we're gonna have you. Yeah, but congratulations.
Thank you.
You have the floor, sir.
I just want to say thank you all for having us here today. I'm nervous. I don't do this type of stuff. But I just want to say thank you. And to Ms. Hawkins, if you need anything from us as far as in the community to help with what's going on, I'm pretty sure my guys wouldn't mind. Even if you want us to just come talk to some kids or whatever the case is, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind doing it. So we'll be here for any needs y'all need as far as with the kids, the youth, or whatever. So that's all I have. Anybody else want to talk? Y'all sure? Thank you.
Madam Clerk, are there any addresses to the council?
Yes, sir, there are.
Let me remind those addressing the council to refrain from use of any profanity, making derogatory statements to council people. Additionally, there'll be no more than 3 speakers per topic or position on a particular topic. Call the speakers, please.
Kim Thornberry.
Good evening, Metro Council. I want to talk to you tonight about Dixie Highway. In 2020, the $35 million Dixie Highway project was completed. However, South Dixie was not part of that. In 2018, the South Dixie Highway Master Plan was officially adopted as an amendment to the comprehensive plan. This plan would have provided needed safety infrastructure and would have spurred economic growth. Sadly, this plan was never implemented. The safety infrastructure that was planned, like placing rumble strips down the center of the highway, could have helped save lives, like the one lost Saturday evening in a head-on collision, which shut down Dixie Highway for over 6 hours. Fatalities are occurring there at an alarming rate for both pedestrians and motorists that could have been prevented with just sidewalks and streetlights. South Dixie remains a depressed, neglected area filled with closed businesses. Your handout has a few pictures of those businesses. The only growth we've experienced in the last few years is in the form of high-density housing. A total of 968 doors when the newest development is completed, all within less than a 1.5-mile stretch of Dixie Highway, and there's more being proposed. However, these new rooftops have not brought new businesses or employment opportunities with them, other than a gas station, a liquor store, and a McDonald's. Oh, and Hot Legs reopened. They've only placed a strain on our already strained infrastructure, schools, roadways, police, and emergency responders. These high-density complexes are being approved even though they cannot comply with the guidelines of the 2040 plan, a plan that was created to be the guiding force when deciding where to place them to ensure equitability. South Dixie is not connected, healthy, authentic, sustainable, or equitable. We have no convenient access to grocery stores, goods or services, amenities, entertainment, medical facilities, no employment opportunities, and no public transit. It is 100% car dependent with no other mode of travel because we lack sidewalks, bike lanes, and streetlights. Public transit is vital to cost-burdened families who don't own a car. I've had parents at my school have to get an Uber to come pick up their sick children from school. Adding a large number of high-density housing in a depressed rural area that lacks resources needed on a daily basis is not smart development. It is poor planning and will not lead to economic growth. Instead, it's going to lead to concentrated poverty. Oh, do I have to stop? Yes. Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you. William Wells.
Under the ADA, I request the additional minute. Good evening, President Ackerson and members of the Louisville Metro Council and staff. My name is William Wells, and I reside at 9120 Coventry Lane in the 24th District, represented by Councilperson Jeannie Mulvey Woodbridge. It's a phenomenal moment this evening that we're here, and I'm still here. This evening, my topic is justice. And after wandering in the wilderness for nearly 40 years and played baseball in Little Rock on Moses Melody Shop, I still have questions and even awe towards trying to understand God's justice and how one can help improve themselves in the beloved community. Attached is a response from David Patterson, whose book, The Shriek of Silence About the Holocaust, Phenomenology of the Holocaust, is written, documented, and I would write to him in the early 90s. We still communicate. But my late uncle, James Knox Polk Wells, love for politics taught me a simple rule. Use an old-fashioned washboard and agitate until the topic comes clean. Our federal Constitution has a clear mandate for the separation of church and state while affording clarity rather than chaos in creating the beauty of our democracy. A unique tension held in discourse within the power of the we, the people. And seemingly, I am dismayed as my life enters into history. I am hopeful still of being able to forgive while learning to learn, such that my dream of being a college teacher, present as art and artist, is occurring in the now. And this evening, in approaching justice in the local rulemaking body of government, I want to share with you the gift of these 26 questions shared with the whole body. Because in essence, maybe it could be a way into working at a higher level of collaboration and cooperation than the historical way of competitiveness. Who can say, thus in closing, if through the spiritual connectivity that soon an economy will emerge shaped by an integration of efficiency with effectiveness in the arts and sciences. I've been blessed to experience a journey. It's been extraordinarily difficult because of the label of the mentally ill, but I can assure you, coming down here times to try to speak in behalf of those who are labeled and sometimes told we ought to kill the mentally ill is an injustice, and I've spent my life trying to bring some justice to this topic. Thank you so much. I wish you all the very best in creating better policy this evening and making a difference for the incredible country we live in and around this globe. Thank you much.
Thank you. Tina Brunell. Mr. President, that concludes our addresses to council.
Next, we have the approval of council minutes for the regular meeting of July 31st, 2025. Are there any corrections or deletions? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing no opposition, the minutes stand as written. Next, we have the approval of the following committee minutes, all in 2025. The regular committee of the whole, July 31st. The regular planning and zoning, August 5th. The regular labor and economic development, August 5th. The regular public works, August 5th. The regular government oversight audit and appointments, August 5th. The regular equity, community affairs, housing, health, and education, August 6th. Regular appropriations, August 6th. The regular public safety, August 6th. Regular ad hoc committee on efficiency of boards and commissions, August 6th. And the regular budget, August 7th. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Second, probably before us. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
In opposition, the minutes are approved as written. Madam Clerk, do we have any communications to the council?
Yes, sir, we do.
Will you read those in the record, please?
Dear President Ackerson, in accordance with the Civil Service Board ordinance, I am appointing the following. Yvonne Board, new appointment term expires June the 30th, 2029. This is to be read in the record only. Metro Council approval of this appointment is not required. Sincerely, Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Dear President Ackerson, in accordance with the ordinance, I am reappointing the following to the Greater Louisville Lodging Management District Board. Jeff Parrish, reappointment term expires May the 1st, 2028. Iman O'Brien, reappointment term expires May the 1st, 2028. David Green, a reappointment term expires May 1st, 2028. Samir Shah, a reappointment term expires May 1st, 2028. Your prompt action on these reappointments is most appreciated. Sincerely, Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Dear President Ackerson, in accordance with the Louisville Regional Airport Authority ordinance, I am appointing the following. Marcia Dahl, a new appointment term expires July the 15th, 2028. Michael Ward, a new appointment term expires July the 15th, 2028. Your prompt action on these appointments is most appreciated. Sincerely, Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Dear President Ackerson, in accordance with the Police Merit Board ordinance, I am appointing the following. Charles Cassius, a new appointment term expires June the 1st, 2029. Your prompt action on this appointment is most appreciated. Sincerely, Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Dear President Ackerson, in accordance with the Riverport Authority Board ordinance, I am reappointing the following. Ronald Carmichael, a new appointment term expires July the 31st, 2028. William Summers V, a new appointment term expires July the 31st, 2028. Your prompt action on these reappointments is most appreciated. It's Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Dear President Brent Ackerson, in accordance with the TARC ordinance, I am appointing the following to the board. Myra Rock, a new appointment term expires August 31st, 2028. Your prompt action on this appointment is most appreciated. Sincerely, Craig Greenberg, Mayor. Read in full.
Those appointments needing council approval be forwarded to the Government Oversight Audit Appointments Committee. The next order of business is the consent calendar. The consent calendar comprises of items 21 through 38. Are there any additions or deletions? Madam Clerk, a second reading of those items.
The following legislation was forwarded from the Appropriations Committee. Item 21, an ordinance appropriating $12,460 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $3,560 from District 1 and 21, $2,670 from Districts 3 and 15 to the Office of Social Services for costs associated with the purchase of portable air conditioners for residents without adequate cooling. Item 22, an ordinance appropriating $19,250 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $9,625 from Districts 8 and 9 to the codes and regulations for graffiti removal as reported and or identified by the Highland Commerce Guild. Item 23, an ordinance appropriating $9,750 from District 10 neighborhood development funds to Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation, Urban Forestry for Bob Ray Company, Inc. to remove trees and grind stumps in the public right-of-way at and near 1521 Sylvan Way. Item 24, an ordinance appropriating $5,117.40 from District 3 Neighborhood Development Funds to the Louisville Metro Public Works and Assets to fund 5 street lights on Harold Avenue, including a 5-year lease agreement with the Louisville Gas and Electric Company. Item 25, an ordinance appropriating $9,212.79 from District 23 Neighborhood Development Funds to the Office of Management and Budget to Highview Business Owners Association, Inc. for costs associated with the Highview Fall Festival and Parade on October the 11th, 2025, the Highview Holiday Fest on December the 6th, 2025, and website maintenance. Item 26, an ordinance appropriating $20,000 from District 4 Neighborhood Development Funds to Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation to fund the District 4 Park Activity Account for community events in District 4. The following legislation was forwarded from Budget Committee. Item 27, an ordinance amending ordinance number 091, Series 2025, and ordinance number 092, Series 2025, relating to the fiscal year 2025-2026, operating and capital budgets respectively by transferring $50,000 from District 20 Neighborhood Development Fund to the District 20 Capital Infrastructure Fund. Item 28, an ordinance amending ordinance number 101, Series 2024, relating to the fiscal year 2024-2025 capital budget by changing the project title and description from the community boat ramp and dock to the community boat house ramp and dock. Item 29, the resolution of official intent of the Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government to finance the acquisition, construction, renovation, and improvement of certain capital projects to Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government and its agencies and departments for the proceeds of one or more proposed issues of general obligation bonds and general obligation notes. The following legislation was forwarded from the Equity, Community Affairs, Housing, Health, and Education Committee. Item 30, a resolution honoring the Reverend Dr. James Zetta Ferguson by dedicating the corner of 12th Street and West Jefferson Street as Reverend Dr. James Zetta Ferguson Way in her honor. Item 31, a resolution honoring Reverend Dr. Gregory France Smith by dedicating the corners of Dixie Highway and Wathan Lane, Chalmer Court and Wathan Lane, Loney Lane and Wathan Lane, New Millennium Drive and Wathan Lane, and 7th Street Road and Wathan Lane as Reverend Dr. Gregory France Smith Way in his honor. Item 32, a resolution honoring Vernita Brown by dedicating the corner of Exeter Avenue and Shasta Trail as Vernita Brown Way in her honor. The following legislation was forwarded from the Government Oversight, Audit and Appointments Committee. Item 33, a reappointment of Jay Davidson to the Criminal Justice Commission. Term expires June the 30th, 2027. Item 34, appointment of Beth Mattingly Denham to the Domestic Violence Prevention Coordinating Council. Term expires April the 26th, 2028. Item 35, appointment of Kelly Luckett to the Domestic Violence Prevention Coordinating Council. Term expires April the 21st, 2028. Item 36, appointment of Terry Anna Harris to the Jeffersontown Fire Protection District Board. Term expires June the 30th, 2027. The following legislation was forwarded from the Labor Economic Development Committee. Item 37, a resolution pursuant to the capital and operating budget approving the appropriation fund the following professional contract with Louisville Metro Economic Development for financial advice on complex financial arrangements, deal structures, and tax increment financing, Commonwealth Economics Partner LLC, $108,000. The following legislation was forwarded from Planning and Zoning Committee. Item 38, an ordinance relating to the closure of an unimproved alley between Wheeler Avenue and Cuyahoga Street containing approximately 0.051 acres and being Louisville Metro, case number 24, street closure 0030, read in full.
Second. Items brought before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Hold on one second. Mr. President, you have 25 yes votes.
The next item of business is old business. Madam Clerk, a reading of item number 39.
An ordinance appropriating $20,000 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $5,000 each from Districts 22, 23, and 24, and $2,500 each from Districts 13 and 20 to the Louisville Metro Police Department, 7th Division, for various community activities for fiscal year 26, as amended, read in full.
Items brought before us, I believe, Councilwoman Parker, does this come out of your committee?
Yes, thank you. This was on old business because it was amended to add more money. It's Councilman Hudson's. Maybe he can speak to it, but it was kind of interesting because some of our South Louisville council people pooled their money for the entire year to help put on events and programs for the Louisville Metro Police Department.
Councilman Hudson.
Yeah, during the budget cycle, it was my wish that things that are recurring throughout year to year be put into the budget. It just didn't happen this budget cycle, so we're transitioning funds from NDF to pay for these community events, and we'll take another swing at it next budget cycle. Thank you. I encourage your support.
I'm looking at my queue, but we all know the queue stinks. The question is, does anyone want to chime in with any additions? No additions. All right, this item is brought before us. Let's do a roll call.
Mr. President, you have 23 yes votes and 2 present votes.
The order is adopted. Madam Clerk, read item number 40.
An ordinance appropriating $7,000 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $5,000 from District 8, $1,000 each from Districts 4 and 10 through the Office of Management and Budget to Highland Community Ministries, Inc. to fund its individual family assistance program, as amended, read in full.
Items before us. Councilwoman Parker, this came out of your committee.
Yes, this was sponsored by Councilman Reno Weber was a primary sponsor. It was amended to add more money. I think their ask was $15,000. I think they currently have 7, and it is for preventing evictions and rental assistance. And Councilman Reno Weber may want to speak to it.
I do, briefly. This eviction prevention work is vital to working upstream for the homeless issue that is affecting so many of our districts. The work that the Highland Community Ministries does affects all of us because very much in the way that it is so often an individual moment of crisis that puts somebody on that eviction list, and that if we can get them through that moment of crisis, we can prevent them from becoming homeless. And once they are homeless, they're not just in the districts that are served by this, they're everywhere. And this is an opportunity for a program that is not about long-term subsidy of rent, it is about crisis management. And so I would love to invite some of our colleagues to join me in funding this.
I'm told that Councilwoman Chapel, you're in the queue, but you're not in my queue. So folks, again, the queue's not working, so just raise your hand or signal me somehow.
Since I just left a meeting right before this one with some members of the area community ministries, one of them from HCM, I'd be a pretty pitiful partner if I did not contribute. So $750 from District 15.
Councilwoman Parrish Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have me at eviction prevention, so $1,300 from District 3.
Councilman Owen.
$500 from District 9, please. Thank you.
Councilman Leninger.
$1,000 from District 6, please.
Councilman Bratcher.
$500 from District 22.
Councilman Rui.
$750 from 21.
Councilwoman Hawkins.
$500 from District 1.
Councilman Syme.
Thank you. $500 from D13.
Councilwoman Shanklin.
$500 from District 2.
500. I'm sorry, I'm just going to repeat 500 from District 2. Thank you.
Councilwoman Bass said 500. Did you get that? Anyone else?
A remaining balance of $1,200.
Councilwoman McCraney.
I yield the floor to anyone else. Otherwise, I'll do the 1,200.
Which should bring us to an equal balance.
Colleagues, I am truly grateful.
May I have a motion for the amended ordinance?
Second.
Items brought before us. All those in favor of the amended ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, we now have the amended ordinance before us. It's in full. So at this point, Madam Clerk, open the roll. Jenny? Jenny?
Mr. President, we have 25 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, reading item number 41.
An ordinance appropriating $5,000 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $3,000 from District 1 and $500 each from Districts 2, 12, 13, and 14 to Metro Parks and Recreation for costs associated with the Algonquin Community Day and Summer Closeout to be held August the 2nd, 2025. Read in full.
Second.
All right, items brought before us. Councilwoman Parker, this came out of your committee.
Yes, sponsor was Councilwoman Hawkins. It was amended to add more money. I believe the event's already taken place, and I will let Councilwoman Hawkins speak to it.
Councilwoman Hawkins.
Yes, thank you. Of course, this is a beautiful day, and from our data, we had a lot of, people show up, just not from my district, all over. They love my swimming pool in Algonquin, so I am going to ask that all my colleagues put something in, because I think that a little bit of everybody's district showed up for free at my pool. Thank you. Then how much money am I short?
The ask was for a total of $12,538.95. You still need $7,538.95.
Councilwoman Parrish Wright.
As Algonquin Park was once in District 3 before redistricting, I know that it serves my community as well. $1,300.
I see no one else in the queue. Councilman Herndon.
500 for District 4, please.
Councilman Weber.
500 from District 8.
Anyone else? Councilwoman Chapel.
There's Andrew and Scott before me if they'd like to go.
500 from District 9.
Scott?
No need to be formal. 250 from District 16.
250 from District 15.
Because the Camp Taylor Pool was not quite ready this year, our campers from Cyril Allgaier Community Center loved their time at the Algonquin Pool. 500 from District 10.
Anyone else?
250 from 5.
250 from 24.
500 from 21, and we're going to be at your pool next year.
All right, let's do it.
Anyone else?
250, 25.
Got that? Anyone else?
250 from 22.
Tony, did you?
Anyone else?
People from your district came down to
Oh, you could bust his chops after we're done. Get him in the hallway as he runs. All right, we've got the amended ordinance before us. All those in favor of the amended ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
What's that? Motion. Got a motion?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? We've got the amended ordinance before us. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Mr. President, you have 26 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. The next item is item 42. Reading that, please.
An ordinance creating a new section of the Louisville-Jefferson County Metro Government Code of Ordinances, LMCO, Chapter 20, regarding the assessment of additional fees and costs for the purpose of paying expenses for courthouses, bonds related to them, and administration expenses to the Jefferson County, or the Jefferson Circuit and District Court. Read in full.
Motion to approve.
Items brought before us, this being my item, I'm the sponsor, I'm going to relinquish the chair to the President Pro Tem. Tammy? And I'm going to call on myself to speak first. Colleagues, this is an item essentially to try to address our courthouse, our jail, and the circuit courthouse. At present, they've identified over $40 million in deferred maintenance. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the low-lying, easy-to-identify matters. The number will be much higher. This council has taken aggressive steps in the last years to address deferred maintenance, everything from road maintenance to sidewalks to buildings and other things. This is one more avenue that we need to address. The court costs have not gone up since before 2001. For nearly 24 years, we could have raised court fees in Jefferson County. There's a statute out there. It's a take it or leave it statute. So if you don't like what we're proposing today, then it's simple, it's a no vote. But there's no negotiation here on the costs. This has an authorization of increasing court fees from probate court to misdemeanor fines, to felonies, to court of appeals actions. At the end of the day, the fees on these various matters will range anywhere from $10 to $30. It's not a major hurdle for folks. People who are charged with a crime but found not guilty will not pay any increase. They won't pay any court costs at all. We've got to do something because our courthouse is falling apart. And this is the responsible move. It won't solve this problem, but it will help us move forward in a manner to do such. I regret, again, emphasizing we can't negotiate what fees we're going to do and we're not going to do. So your vote tonight really boils down to this. Do you believe that we should go ahead and use this tool, one of the few tools that we have don't have many, to try to continue to deal with deferred maintenance? Or there'll be some in this room that will say, we feel like some of the poorer aspects of our society might be burdened by this $10 to $30 per court cost fee. And as such, they're a no vote. I get where they're coming from, but I hope this council will do the responsible thing, continue to move forward with cost and fees. There's been discussion in this body, a lot of movement and discussion about raising codes and reg fees and getting those fees up to modern day standards and modern day par. I think that's a good thing also. This is consistent with that same school of thought. Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem.
Councilman Ben Weber, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I want to first acknowledge the real need for this investment in our courthouse. This is a responsibility of Metro Council, and we have failed at that responsibility. And this is an important nexus for our community. This is where a wide swath of our society comes in order to get justice. And it is where many public servants who have chosen to be a part of this process rather than pursuing more lucrative careers are spending their time. And so I just want to fully acknowledge the shame that it is that we have not invested in ways that stop them from getting stuck in elevators. We have not been able to address the escalators, the lights, and so many other pieces of deferred maintenance that we fully acknowledge are there. And I also share the sentiment that the maybe $1.5 million that come out of this ordinance is not even the beginning of what needs to happen there. And I raise concerns about this as a mechanism for raising funds in committee. And since that time, I have been inundated with calls saying, hey, actually, don't worry about this because there's no universe in which this is even going to hit the financial models that are in here. Because our judges are not going to enforce this. This is not going to hit that $1.5 million. This financial spreadsheet is not even worth the electrons that were used to create it. And I would say, fine. I think there is an ideological conversation around who bears the burden for our failure to support this courthouse, but I don't think that's the conversation I want to have tonight. I think the conversation that I'm interested in is, yes, this piece of legislation is yes, no, do you believe in this funding mechanism? But that shouldn't be the conversation that we're having. The conversation that we're having as a body should be, what is the best way for us to raise money to do this thing that we're trying to accomplish together? I've had outreach from a number of folks who've said, hey, actually, in other communities, there are other funding mechanisms that they have used to create dedicated funding streams. And I will say that over the course of the last couple of years, this body has come up with some additional funding streams for Metro Council for our city budget. And I will not ever miss the opportunity to talk about Medicaid. I know that makes us council bingo. That's my spot. But if you note that what we are going to get out of that is a sustainable funding stream for doing work responsibly. And so what I'm asking for tonight is not that we vote yes or no on this ordinance. What I'm asking for is that we send it back to committee so that we can have a thoughtful conversation together about what are the sustainable mechanisms for doing this funding. I believe that we really do need to have a holistic conversation around our fees, around why they haven't kept up with inflation and what we need to be doing about that and how they are applied. And I would like the opportunity to have a couple of weeks to engage some national experts to say, is this the best way for us to do this? Recognizing that this is not going to accomplish what we want. This is not going to get anywhere close to the 40 million. But that with some thought, this body could come up with, or at least should be able to consider, a wider range of options than just this one blunt instrument. Thank you.
Second.
So I'd like to make a motion to send this back to committee.
No, JP. Because the new queue will be created.
So let's stop the conversation, or do we move on to the?
Let's create a new queue. Well, don't kill who's in there, just leave it there. You can make a note. Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. I think it should not be sent back to committee. This was debated fairly extensively in committee. There was an effort to table it there. That failed. This is the right solution. We are open, or as we said then, we're open to other people exploring other solutions. Feel free to. But this is how this has been funded for a long time. All this is moving fees that have already existed, updating them after 24 years of not being touched. So this is some reasonable increases. To send this back now would not change people. If I thought that there was other research to be done in reconsidering all of this, that's not going to be resolved in weeks. People can do that while we're taking action on this. So I think sending it back is the wrong thing to do. I encourage people to defeat this motion. Let's debate it, vote on it tonight. That does not stop anybody from considering other options that we can use moving forward. Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem.
Thank you. I signed up for the other one, but I also want to comment on this. I agree with Councilman Ben Reno Weber about sending this back to committee. There's a lot to discuss. There's a responsibility from the state. I know that we are the landlords of these properties, and this problem has been compounded for a very long time. And I am someone who's not a lawyer, but has worked in all of those buildings the last 4 years. So I've seen it fall apart. I've had to take the stairs, so I know that there's repairs that need to happen. But also, as someone who works in amnesty and trying to make sure that people who cannot afford the fines and fees don't sit in our jails costing us more money. And earlier I said in our caucus, that it was about $80 to $90 per day when somebody is incarcerated over whatever it is, but fines and fees are ways people are incarcerated. But LMDC's fact sheet says that it's for 2024, $161 a day to house a person in LMDC, and the average stay is 44 days. I have bailed people out for $12.99, for $25 in fines and fees for years. So this will cost us more. If you don't care about poor people sitting in jail for fees they can't pay, care about the other impact it will have on LMDC, the budgets when people can't pay these fines because they're picking their bills out of a hat. So I think that there's a bigger discussion to have in different ways that we can look at this. I know we don't like talking about raising taxes and all of that, but I think that there's a way to approach this. And I think what Councilman Ben Reno Weber is suggesting gives us more time to digest it. Seeing as if we pass this through, if somehow it passes through, it won't really impact the building. And I have some questions about the monies that was supposed to be put up for the escalators and all of the matching funds that didn't happen. So for me, I am supporting sending it back to committee to give it more time. Thank you.
Councilman Marcus Winker.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. I would just say, we spend way more time in committee on much less consequential pieces of legislation. I think it's a reasonable ask from Councilman Reno Weber. And I think we should consider the alternative tonight. If we don't send it back, and actually, I would offer as maybe even a counter suggestion, tabling the item. If we don't want to send it back to committee, leave it here for 2 weeks, let them do some work, and then work on it. Maybe that is a more palatable solution for folks. Just encourage you to consider that, because the alternative is 13 people will vote for it tonight, 13 people vote against it tonight, and it will fail. And then I really am not sure where we're at, and think that's probably the worst possible outcome. I see no harm in holding it. I don't think there was any testimony that this is like building on fire, we got to raise these fees tomorrow, or the building's going to crumble. I see no harm holding it for 2 weeks, and would encourage everybody to vote with me and hold it for 2 weeks.
Thank you. Yeah, I had gotten myself into the queue prior to Councilman Piacentini's remarks, so same goes for me, double.
Okay. Councilman Scott Reed, I do apologize about that.
That's okay. So I'm hearing that this would raise maybe $1 million to a year. I don't think that's a nominal. I don't think that's a nominal sum. I mean, you're picking away at it a little bit at a time. I think what's being left out here is that we do have empathy for those that are less fortunate, but at the same time, they're the ones that are committing the infractions. So why shouldn't they have to pay a fine if they're, if in fact they're found guilty of whatever it is the infraction is? So I don't see any reason to hold this, and there are only so many ways that we can raise fees anyway, and that is by raising taxes. And I don't know that there's any stomach on this body to do that. So thank you.
Councilman J.P. Leonard.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. I would like to first address the point that a motion to table failed at the committee level. That vote failed 5-4. I don't think a motion to refer back is dilatory. Obviously the full council is a separate body, and again, that was a motion that failed narrowly. While the fee structure is set statutorily, the KRS does not address waivers, and I think that there is an opportunity for us to talk to the county attorney and to find out what our options are to set a waiver structure. Currently waivers are ad hoc and by the discretion of judges. I would like to see if we're going to move forward with something like this, that maybe we could have a conversation about what we would like to see our wishes are for waivers and how we address the concerns of members of this body, disproportionate impacts on the poor and the working class. We've also heard at the committee level and again tonight an emphasis on these are fees paid by the guilty. As the Honorable Councilwoman Shamika Parrish-Wright would mention, not everyone who pleads guilty in our courts is in fact guilty, and many people are taking a deal that it gets them out of jail and back and able to enter the workforce, able to provide for their children, able to pay for their rent. There are many, many such cases that we see in our courtrooms every day in Jefferson County, and putting this as a sort of, well, this is on them, they shouldn't have, you do the crime, you got to pay the fine. I think it really fails to acknowledge the inequitable justice that we have in Louisville, Jefferson County, in the state of Kentucky, particularly after we have removed the ability for communities to raise funds for getting people out of jail before their convictions, and again, putting them at the mercy of the deals that are offered. I do believe that this is a policy that should have a little more time in the oven, and I absolutely support Councilman Reno Weber's motion.
Councilwoman Dr. Paula McCraney.
Thank you. In deference to our esteemed guest, the Honorable Jason Nemus, I want to say that my argument at the committee level was because I believe, and that's where I first met the representative, when he worked for the Administrative Office of the Courts. And I do believe that there's an opportunity to speak with the state-level legislators to see if they can find an option for us to help with this burden instead of our increasing the fees. I was told that that is not an option, but I don't know that that's quite true, because the gentleman who was representing at the budget refused to answer the question. And so I throw that out there, and it just so happened that our esteemed guest is here tonight, and I throw that out there in his honor. Thank you.
Councilman Brent Ackerson.
Thank you. This is what I would say to this body. We have a consistent behavior of not asking the questions until it's put before us. This has been read in the record 2 weeks ago. Okay? If people had questions, questions should be asked in a timely manner. I'm hearing the discussion of waivers and things like that. You know, what would be interesting is, you know, when we hear this talk about other options and waivers, it's talk. In fact, I'll offer a $50 bounty. If anyone can show me their email where they've sent it to the county attorney's office saying, get me some research on this. Get me some information on this. If you can produce an email that has a date prior to today, I'll give you a $50 bounty, because I'm going to suggest, well, great, bring it after the meeting. I got the cash on me. But what's interesting is this, is quite often, this body shows up with lots of questions that they said they want to ask, but they never ask them timely. I'm excited if you can collect the bounty tonight, because I have a little more faith in the most of you. But for those of you who are talking, the talk here, and you're on the record, saying, I've got questions about this, I've got questions about that, those questions should have been asked long before tonight. And if you can prove it before tonight, then you got money coming your way. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Kevin Kramer.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. I apologize for being so late getting into the queue. Typically, something goes to the chair of the committee first, but decorum doesn't always hold for some reason. It did come out of committee with a favorable vote. There was a good bit of conversation about the fact that this is a state statute that was created before merger, and that we had not taken advantage of these fees in the past. And many of the things that have been thrown out tonight did come up in committee, and despite those conversations, it still passed out. I would say I think it's interesting that the new piece of conversation that came out tonight, at least as much as I've tried to understand it, is this adamant appreciation or understanding of the shape that the building's in, and the need for to pay for the deferred maintenance, and the fact that this has been going on for a long time. And but what I find to be interesting and odd is we are presented with this as if it's an either-or conversation. Like, either we find a way to fund all of the deferred maintenance, or we do this $1 million, which won't make a difference anyway. I've been on the council for a number of years now. Councilman Hollander was chair of the Budget Committee the year that we initiated a conversation about deferred maintenance across all of Metro Louisville's properties. That is not, deferred maintenance is not an issue that we are going to solve in the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks or even 4 months or 6 months. The costs are astronomical. We can bond some of it, but only so much. At this point, it makes sense for us not to think we're going to do some comprehensive solution to our problem. We need to take advantage of the opportunities we have when we have them. This is an opportunity that we have had for 20-plus years and didn't realize that we had it. I know, again, Councilman Piagentini mentioned that there are colleagues that are beginning to look at fee structures for license fees and other things that haven't been changed for years and years. It is only 1.2 million, and even if we don't get the whole 1.2, the thought that someone is going to get stuck on an escalator or stuck in an elevator, and we argued over how we were going to pay for every bit of deferred maintenance, and so we basically did nothing for years and years and years, is upsetting. I just don't understand how any of my colleagues would accept that as an argument. I don't understand why we would decide not to do what we can do, despite the fact that we can't do it all. Please don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The best we can do tonight, is pass this ordinance. I will work doggedly with anybody on this council, or even from outside the council, who is really serious about looking at the deferred maintenance needs that we have in this community and help you find ways to reallocate some of our funding. Because it is about priorities, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't about a lack of revenue, it's about priorities. We have not prioritized deferred maintenance. This is one funding stream that can help chip away at that. So, that said, I would ask my colleagues, please don't send this back to committee. We already had this conversation. There's nothing new tonight that would go back to committee that would have an impact on our conversation there. So it would just sit there and then it would come back in 2 weeks. Vote on it. Vote on it. If you think that we should have a comprehensive solution for deferred maintenance before we start dealing with deferred maintenance, vote no. If you recognize and understand that we have a big problem with deferred maintenance that's going to require as many different options and opportunities as we can go for, a yes on this one tonight is the only one that makes sense. Thank you.
Councilwoman Merlin Parker.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I've been here a little while, and I know that we increase fees all the time in this body for all kinds of different things. And to me, it just seems like who better to pay for this funding that we need for deferred maintenance than the people that actually sit in the facilities and use the facilities. And even if we tabled this for 2 weeks, are you really going to find a funding source in 2 weeks? And even if you did, how are you going to guarantee that it would be designated just for this? I mean, to me, it's just a no-brainer. It's just common sense. And the fees aren't even going up that much. So I'm not in favor of tabling it, and I am definitely for the ordinance.
Councilman Andrew Owens.
Thank you, Chair Pro Tem, or President Pro Tem, sorry. So I'll say a similar thing to that I said in committee, and I wish we would have held it in committee instead of brought it to the council at that time. I am all for raising as much revenue as we can for Metro Louisville. We have very limited ways that we can raise revenue, and so I'm interested in looking at all places where we can do that. And I said this in committee as well. I'm very likely to vote for this at the end of the day. But the same argument, in my opinion, that we're kind of saying we've had the ability to do this since 2004. We have one of our colleagues saying, I'd love to have 2 weeks to look into this, see what I can find out, whether we table it or whether we send it back. I just don't see why we're in such a hurry. I mean, we've had one of our colleagues request to hold it. I would have loved to have held it at committee. I'll vote tonight to send it back or table it again. Again, like I said at committee, I will also, if that fails and we end up voting for, I'll very likely vote for the ordinance to raise the fees. So I just don't see any harm, frankly, in pausing for 2 more weeks, letting our colleague do the things that he does, which is, like I said in committee, the guy does research on these types of things all the time, stuff most of us don't want to do. And so I would ask that we pause for 2 weeks and then, see where we are 2 weeks from now and pass the ordinance. Thank you.
Councilman Bino Weber.
So thank you. And I would just note that there is a very big difference between, hey, we'd like 2 weeks to do this, and I think what my colleague Councilman Kramer was saying, which is we're deferring this forever, we're waiting for the perfect. We're not waiting for the perfect. In the couple of weeks that or not even, I mean, it's a couple of days since I sent my award and bet winning request to the county attorney to learn more, people have reached out and said, hey, have you thought about using social impact bonds? Someone from the Arnold Foundation happened to be in town for a fundraiser for Brett Guthrie, and he said, hey, we've got some thoughts around this. So I think the idea that there's no opportunities here is wrong. And I think that the concerns that people do have might be able to be addressed. Does this disproportionately fall on people who, are there ways for us to carve out protections for the people that people in this council care a lot about while still addressing these financial things? I don't know. And the fact that we don't know the answer makes it not a no-brainer. I think it makes it a, hey, let's spend the requisite amount of time to see if we can figure out how to do this right. And that's all I'm asking for. So, thank you.
Councilwoman Shamika Press-Wright.
All right, I'll try to be quick. I already tried to appeal to the unfair burden on vulnerable populations. And I realized that I'm on the committee, but I was also on vacation, and we are allowed to take vacations. But I did do my homework, and so I will give you the notes that I made about this from the issues with using fines and fees as revenue. We already collect bonds and fees and things like that, and some of that money goes up to the state and trickles back down through our county attorney and other entities that rely on it. But revenue is unreliable and it's declining. So despite fewer court cases, there's been a 20% drop in our court system from 2018 to 2022. The amount of fines and fees imposed actually rose, but collections dropped 33%, and revenues haven't recovered since. And there are links to related articles and facts and figures for those who think I don't read. In some jurisdictions, the cost of collecting fines exceeds or nearly equals what's collected. So, for example, one of our counties, because not all counties are on board with this, 101 are, the rest aren't, but spent $1.17 to collect $1, effectively losing money. And we talked about fines and fees tend to disproportionately impact low-income people and their ability to pay, so it's really regressive. But in Kentucky specifically, there are over 1,000 provisions in state law imposing criminal fines and fees. These systems tend to increase hardship and incarceration rather than deter crime and improve all the things. But the biggest thing I want to say is that these fines can lead to bench warrants, which escalate debt into full-blown court involvement and incarceration. And even when the DOJ emphasizes that unpaid fines and fees result in license suspensions and job loss and those things, but it undermines public safety and trust. But in Kentucky, we have big issues with transparency and oversight. Many jurisdictions, including in Kentucky, including Jefferson County, limited or no accessible data on how much fines and fees are imposed versus collected, hampering reform and accountability efforts. So we're doing this with good faith because we all want the buildings to be better, but is it going to be worth it? Will we have the return on investment that we are really trying to do? So I'm agreeing to send it back to committee, not that I think all of our problems will be resolved in 2 weeks, but that there is an analysis that this is unreliable because the collections have declined and costs can outweigh the revenue, the cost of collecting them. It's unjust and disproportionately impacting low-income individuals. It's counterproductive because it leads to increased incarceration, and it's difficult to evaluate or reform. We need better data around it. So give us an opportunity to do that. And like I said, what else are we looking at as far as the statewide connection to this? And it's good to see you, Representative Nemes.
Councilman J.P. Linder?
Please excuse me, I'd like to readdress a couple of points that were made here in debate. One, we can't actually, even in this, demand that these are earmarked for the deferred maintenance. So it's not just in terms of you can't, guarantee something else that you would bring forward would be able to be earmarked for the deferred maintenance. This in itself is also, we cannot earmark it for the deferred maintenance. We are not allowed to earmark it for the deferred maintenance per state law. This can also go straight to administrative costs. The other thing I want to mention is discussion of why things are not addressed in between committee and council meetings. I'm a big believer in deliberative democracy, and these are deliberative bodies. I have absolutely heard things here on the floor of this body in just my short tenure that have moved me and changed my votes on items. I would find it really concerning if the statement is made that you can refer this back to committee, but no one is going to think anything different. I would hope that as a deliberative body with colleagues that we all respect, that if people make a point, if an item is raised and brought to the county attorney and the county attorney gives an opinion that might change our idea about what this legislation would look like, that those things would be considered. And I hope we always maintain open, deliberative democracy on this body. The people of Louisville have so few chances to see the engagement of deliberative democracy, which is transformative in people's lives, and I think that it's an important ideal to uphold. Thank you.
Okay, we can do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
No. Ayes have it.
The ayes have it. Okay, so now we're gonna take a vote on recommitting. Brent, this is you. She gonna put yours in.
Explain the vote, please.
This is the vote to recommit, to send it back to committee. Yes. Mr. President said a yes sends it back to committee and a no keeps it here. Councilman Hawkins? A yes is to recommit it to the budget committee, yes. And a no is to leave it here. Councilwoman Hawkins, I got you down for now. Councilman Winkler, I have you as a yes. Councilwoman Hawkins, are you a yes? You are a yes, right? Yes. Okay. Councilman Bratcher. No, okay. All right. President Pro Tem Hawkins, we have a 13-13 vote. It fails.
All right, we're gonna have some more discussion about this.
You're back in the queue.
Wanna go back to the queue?
You're back in the queue.
So I'll call on Shamika Presswright.
I just wanted on record that I am not supporting this because it needs more work and not against the repairs and maintenance that's needed. I just don't think it's going to solve all of our problems, and I don't understand the rush. So I will still be voting no. Thank you.
Councilmember Kevin Kramer.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. Again, I will make the same plea and same argument that I don't think anyone should believe that this is going to solve our problem. I think that's a mistake. And I think when we continue to say over and over and over that this isn't going to fix it, this isn't going to fix it, no, right? It's not going to fix it. and anybody who thinks it's going to fix it is mistaken. This is one tool in a toolbox that desperately, desperately, desperately needs more tools. So anything we do is a step in the right direction. So from that perspective, I'm a yes vote. I'm asking my colleagues to be a yes as well. I do need to make a couple comments as chair of the Budget Committee. In committee, there was some conversation about the title of the ordinance and the whereases. There's a whereas that doesn't match the title. There is a whereas that says that the funds shall be used only for deferred maintenance. The title suggests that the funds can be used for administration expenses. I did ask the county attorneys if they would look into that on my behalf, and they did. I don't know if that counts as getting a $50 bounty or not. But I did ask the county attorney to look into that for me, and their response was that the state statute is the state statute. So we can't change that language. We can't change how many of the fees we want to charge. Like, we can't decide to charge some fees and not others. We either do all or nothing, and we can't change the title. And my colleague from District 6 has said a couple different times, that's in the whereas it's not binding, that's in the whereas it's not binding. And he's right, technically, and as far as that goes. The whereas is, in fact, not binding. It's only the be it resolved. However, I think we would be remiss if we believed somehow that when we make it clear as a legislative body who has the authority to appropriate funds, when we make it clear what our expectations are for those funds, and what we are making clear is that we are accepting what has been proposed to us. What was proposed to us by the courts was that these dollars would be used only for deferred maintenance. That was their proposal, not ours. So we put into the whereas, we expect you to do what you told us you were going to do. We can't mandate that because state law won't let us. But it was clear in committee that was their intent. We are making it clear by putting it in the whereas. A vote in favor of this tonight makes it clear to anybody and everybody who's listening that the intent is this will be spent on deferred maintenance. Now, again, my colleague is not wrong. We can say spend this on deferred maintenance, and we can send it over to them, and they can completely ignore us and use it exclusively for administrative fees. This body then needs to recognize that we have the authority to withdraw then this as an opportunity. So yes, they absolutely can ignore us. But I will say this to the courts who are listening, and I'll say this to my colleagues tonight. If they ignore us, if they use any of this money for anything other than deferred maintenance, I will be the one bringing this back as an ordinance to rescind this and to change this so that the courts can no longer collect this fee. Everybody understands what we intend to do with it. This isn't me making a threat to the courts. They are the ones who said they want to do this. This is me responding to my colleagues who are throwing it out there and saying, oh, don't do this because they might not use it for what they said. If they don't use it for what they said, by gosh, we'll just withdraw it. So that shouldn't be an acceptable argument. We should reject that out of hand. And again, making an argument that this isn't enough, no, it's not. But if we don't start taking steps towards fixing this, we are going to continue to have the problems in the courthouse and the court buildings that we're having. I beg my colleagues, please. It's not enough, but it's real money. I don't know if any of my constituents listening would argue that $1.5 billion is not real money. I mean, $1.5 million is real money. We shouldn't be walking away from this. Thank you.
Councilman Anthony Piangentini.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. Just wanted to respond to something that occurred during debate number one. My colleague from District 8, I'd be very interested in the emails of the folks that were saying that the courts will never charge this. I think this plays directly into something that's bubbled up in the media recently, and that is clearly we need significantly more oversight, or transparency of what is going on at the judicial branch. And then I would say I've heard two arguments tonight that can't be simultaneously true. One of them was related to those emails saying that the courts will never collect this, so we're never going to see this $1.2 million. And then other colleagues said that this is going to bankrupt people and send them to jail. Well, if the courts aren't collecting them, it can't possibly create a bench warrant that sends somebody to jail. So either the courts will collect them and it creates that risk,
or it won't collect them, and they won't see the money, and then they won't use the deferred maintenance. So this is my point in, like, I appreciate everybody's arguments, but we're now making arguments that contradict each other, which means they can't all be true. So, again, I agree wholeheartedly with what Councilman Kramer said here. I suspect that my colleague from District 8 will continue his work. I hope so. And if that work can get rid of all of this, then I'd be the first one saying, well, let's go this wholly different route. But I don't think anybody's going to come up with a tool that's going to meet the need, which is what my colleague from District 11 is saying. So it may be this and you and somebody else and other ideas all coming to the table. So appreciate the opportunity, and I'll be voting yes. Thank you very much.
Councilman Marcus Winkler.
The voting's open. Yes, sir. Yes, this is to table. This is to table, ma'am, and a vote yes is to table here at the council, and a no is to continue the discussion. Councilwoman Hawkins? Yes. Councilmember Raymond? Okay. Madam Pro Tem, President Pro Tem, we have a 13-13 vote. The motion to table fails.
All right, Councilman Judy.
You seconded? I seconded. Okay, 17. That's okay. I was just making sure. Question. And 26. So we need another motion for calling the question. Just call the question. No, it was a call to question. Yep. Where? Okay. Thank you. Got too much. Okay. So we're ready for a final vote. Okay. I'm going to open it up. The vote is open. This is the final vote on this legislation. Councilwoman Hawkins? Yes for Councilman Winkler?
Yes for me.
Yes for Councilman Ackerson, or President Ackerson, and Councilwoman Hawkins?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Purvis? Okay. You're the last vote. You're my last voter.
Well, I asked to speak in the queue, but since we're in the voting.
You weren't in the queue. Nobody was in the queue.
Be quiet. Do what? Yeah, I would like to explain my vote, and I would like to make a comment. Everything that I do to benefit the people that I serve. And I am concerned with an increase in fee where I already serve a district where the people are economically challenged. I'm wondering how this would affect them. But then I do think about 24 years and no increase, and we have a building that is becoming dilapidated, we're going to have to get the fees, the money somewhere. And I feel like supporting this would prevent potentially somewhere down the road with taxes being increased again on people that live in a disinvested area. So I feel like at this moment, I'm really in between if I should vote present, if I should vote yay, if I should vote nay. So, am I getting on somebody's nerves? Can you give me the count, please?
2, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 no votes, and the rest are yes votes.
How many?
The rest, so what, 7 and 19, 18, I'd say 18 yes votes.
Oh, well, so it's already passed?
Yes, ma'am.
Basically. I can just vote present. Thank you.
There are, Madam President Pro Tem, there are 18 yes votes, 7 no votes, and 1 present vote.
Let the record reflect, I've reassumed the chair. The ordinance is adopted.
Mr. President, can I have a point of order, please?
Point of order away.
I'm going to say this as nicely as possible because I really love and adore all my colleagues here, particularly those that are speaking related to their vote. But we talked about this at the beginning of this session. We talked about it last session. And before this happens again, I think it's quite unfortunate. If you were in the queue, I would have voted against calling the question. I think everybody should be heard. But I want to say that it is not in the rules to allow for comment once the voting has opened. It is inherently unfair to everybody else in the room because something could be said that then alters a person's decision. It doesn't give the opportunity for debate, question, et cetera. So I didn't want to say it while my colleague was speaking because I respect her very much, and it's, this is not a chronic issue. But I just wanted to make that issue, I just want to make that point moving forward and ask my colleagues to stick to the rules of this body, which is once the voting is opened, which I would never open until I will vote against every call of the question so that everybody is heard. You have that promise of me. If you're in the queue, I will vote to allow you to speak. I can't say it for everybody, but I will always vote that way. But I would ask that we all refrain from making comments when we're voting because it is against the process and inherently unfair according to our rules. Thank you, Mr. President.
I will respond to the right honorable gentleman from District 19. And that is, he makes sense. And as such, colleagues, at the next committee of a whole, the next committee of committees, we will be discussing this, and more likely than not, we will no longer allow an explanation on the vote, maybe after the vote is over. But again, we'll discuss this and we'll decide this as a body moving forward. That being said, the ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, a reading of item number 43.
A resolution encouraging parents and guardians to be aware of their children's whereabouts and activities, particularly during after-school and nighttime hours. Read in full.
Items properly before us. Let's see, this came out of Councilwoman Shanklin's committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thought about this a lot after we had a couple of kids in my district, one 12-year-old and one 15-year-old were killed during a gang fight. One shot the other one in the back of the head on his own team, trying to shoot somebody else. And some of these incidents happen 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I just encourage parents to know where their children are. I've talked to some some children, and they said, a lot of times I leave at night and she don't even know I'm gone. And I've talked to adults, and they say, hey, when I was young, I did the same thing. But today's is a lot different than it was back in the day when you snuck out of the house and got back in. Look at P. Argentina's grinning, so I know he snuck out. But I also thought about there was a 4-year-old that got shot nobody was watching him. He found a gun and shot himself. And so we need to encourage our parents to be more careful with our kids and to watch them to make sure that they're safe. And even if you have to get up in the middle of the night and check and see if they're in there. I just had my aide, I laughed about it because she was telling me that her sister snuck out one night, and when she tried to climb back in the window, they locked the window and wouldn't let her in. And then they woke their mother up and told her that somebody was trying to break in. So back in the day, it wasn't harmful or anything when you snuck out. But now times have changed. We have to be careful with our children. And also, I got in touch with 6 parents that had lost their children, and we've done a PSA. And so the PSA is going to be shown pretty soon, and Cal's going to give it to every one of y'all to look at it. And it's really sad to see the ones that have lost their children. And so, but we need to get it out there and make parents aware of what's going on in the streets. So that's the reason I wrote it. Okay.
Councilman Piagentini, you're first in my queue.
Thank you. I moved this from, or I asked immediately to move this from consent calendar to old business to express my incredible appreciation for my colleague, Councilwoman Shanklin. I'll make 2 quick comments there. First of all, when I brought this up with my caucus, it was my colleague from District 11 who has known her the longest, or as long as anybody could possibly know her in this professional setting, and immediately made the comment, she's one of the most courageous people on this council for things like this, and then cited other work that you've done in your community and very difficult, not just positions, but actions that you've taken to make your community better. My colleague, who is unable to debate these topics sitting up there, has regularly referenced you as the conscience of the council. And I think this is a perfect example of precisely that. I do want to make 2 points on it. Number one, I think it's incredibly sad that this governing body even has to say this out loud. I think it's frankly pathetic to some degree. There is no question in my mind that the order of how this works is family, community, church, or religious organization, and then governing body, local, state, federal, in that order, which means all those groups have to really fail until we get to those upper layers. You know, we don't want people to be involved in the justice system. Who prevents that? Usually family, community, and faith, right? So I think it's unfortunate we're here, but it's wonderful that we're saying it out loud so that we can hopefully drive the change, even if it's just from a cultural or a communication point of view. And I know a lot of people have stated, particularly because we've had this rash of juvenile crime, folks have said, well, we need to, arrest parents, hold them accountable. Obviously, you can't. It'd be unconstitutional to arrest person X for person Y's activity. But I do hope the mayor and our executive branch hear what is being stated here loud and clear. And I do think that there are agencies that when they find children whose parents, not just, I think you said it right? Maybe I have snuck out once or twice, right? But it was all for good fun. It was not for any nefarious purpose. And my parents yanked me up the second they found out, right? As I would expect all good parents to do. It is the scary situations are the ones that you mentioned that don't know and don't care. And if a child is in that situation, there are consequences and services that can help that child and protect them from a neglectful and abusive situation at home. So I would hope that our local agencies work with those agencies, many of them are state agencies, that could protect those children. And why? Because it has the opportunity to put those children in a better position, maybe in a situation where their parents where their guardians aren't neglecting them. And that lack of neglect leads to, in many cases, unfortunately, the harm and death of other people other children and now adults are being impacted by this. And if we don't remember that, it is not, I don't want to break up families. I want families to stay together. It is the anchor of our society. But if it is a regular process that the state executes, and that is, if parents are that abusive and or neglectful, that they would allow their children to get involved in this type of activity, not by accident, but I'm talking by design, then they need to be held accountable through that process so that child has the hope and this community can be safer. Thank you very much for bringing this up.
Thank you.
Councilman Shanklin.
Councilman Bratcher.
Yes, Chairman, President, and Councilwoman Shanklin, thank you so much for this. I agree wholeheartedly in it. You know, 3 years ago when I was a state representative, I and our esteemed whip out here in the audience and several of us started the process of funding and getting the Juvenile Detention Center back online in Louisville. Now, there's two ways to look at a detention center. You can look at it negatively where, you know, we put children in places where they cannot go back to the community and commit harm, or we can look at it the way many of the Fisher and Greenberg partners that worked with me on this facility to bring it back here to Louisville, and that is, how can we reach these children before they hit the age of 18? And if they are caught and released before they go to a facility, a local facility, and I had many clergy saying, I can't go to Adair County and talk and counsel one of these young folks that are on the bad track. That has to be a local facility. And the clergy and the family, they can come here if we get this open again, and they can try to reach these folks and these young folks before they hit 18, because then it's downhill bad quick from there. And, you know, we've had a lot of headlines lately in the Louisville about juveniles, and there's just so many things we could be doing, and I hope we could do it, all 26 of us together, and try to get the executive branch of this state, the Commonwealth, from the governor on down, to get busy opening that facility. Untold millions have been poured into it already from the budget, in the General Assembly budget. And this was in 2022. And at first they said it'd be ready in 25, then they said 26, the latest was 27. Somebody, I hope, will get with the executive branch of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and ask them to get busy on bringing that facility here so that we may give our children a chance. Right now, if a child commits a felony, they got two choices. Send him right back home, him or her, right back home with an ankle bracelet, or send them to Warren County or McCracken County or Adair County, which is 2 hours away. We need them here so we could speak to them. And so, Councilman Shanklin, thank you for bringing this. This has got to be, and I had a long discussion with the I want to say gentlelady from District 1, the council member from District 1. We had a long discussion in my office before this session, and she has such great passion, and she really wants to take care of this problem, fix this problem, and it takes all of us. But it did seem to, every time we would whittle it down, it came to the parents. The parents and the guardians, they've got to be there. They got to stand up and be responsible so that we can turn these young folks' lives around. It's so sad to see what's happening. So I will vote for this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Councilman Owen.
Thank you, President Ackerson. I'm going to be voting in support of this. I think it's, appreciate Councilwoman Shanklin bringing it forward. I want to just point out the PSAs that were created. I happened to be with Nikki Liniak, who works for Metro TV, and she had just filmed some of these PSAs, and Kyle Etheridge was there, and they had been involved in filming these PSAs, and both of them were saying how poignant and how both of them were in tears after filming these PSAs. So I'm really looking forward to that piece of it. So yes, I'm going to be voting forward to it, but I just wanted to call out the PSAs as well. I think that's important, and it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be valuable to see the PSAs that were created along with this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Syme.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not every child has a parent at home. There's a lot of children who don't have fathers at home. I was a youth football coach, and I remember I made one of my kids an Angel Tree kid, and I took him his presents, and there was 5 of them that slept on a twin mattress, and there was no father, and there were 20 knocks at the door, and I don't know what they were there for, but this kid had no chance, and I really want to commend Councilwoman Shanklin, but I also want to commend Councilwoman Hawkins, because she brought these boys up here, and these boys told me that they're going to get out and try to help her. We've got to get these young men, to help and nurture these kids that do not have parents. There's some kids at home, their mother is the only one raising them, and she's working 2 jobs to make ends meet. And then we're going to criminalize her. I don't want to do that. I think we need some caseworkers out here looking, but more than anything, we've got to start relying on faith-based organizations and groups like Tammy works with and some of the other colleagues work with. And let's not criminalize, but let's help them out and give them we've got time to do it. We've got plenty time to do it if we would take time to do it. But there's a lot of kids that don't have parents, and we need to think about them and think about the organizations that are trying to help them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Joseph.
Yeah, I just want to, first of all, thank you for this, Councilwoman. It wasn't until I got into education that I realized that, how grateful I am to have the upbringing that I had, and that not everyone has that. And it does something to you when you see that these kids some of them have nothing to go home to, and that the inside of our schools are the best defense that they have. And this, while it's so common sense, I keep going back to the Frederick Douglass quote that it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And I think that sums everything up here. And so really appreciate it. And it does take all of us, but also thinking from the inside of the school climate, it still starts at home.
Councilman Hawkins.
Thank you. I want to commend my colleague for bringing this initiative. Also, I want to say that there are a tremendous amount of our youth that don't have the structure or the direction that they need to be successful, or the tools. But more than anything, I want to take you all back to when I very first got on council. I remember me calling Councilwoman Shanklin, probably in the middle of the night. I was devastated. There was, when I found out that there was a group of young children that the state had custody of, and they didn't have no place to place them. They didn't have any parents, and they were sleeping in the L&N building. Those are the kids that go to, I always say that we have a gang issue. A lot of kids from our culture goes to gangs because they don't have parents. They just want to feel loved. They want to feel like that they belong. That is one of the biggest reasons that we have a gang issue, is because they don't have parents at home, or they have parents that work, that try to survive. So how they know how to survive in the streets is, let me try to get over here with this gang because I'm getting bullied and I got some protection. Like I said, I want to commend my colleague. Every last person that spoke has a story. and I say this often, what you just don't know and what you have not experienced, you just don't know. A lot of these things, like my colleague said, Dan Sams, that, I don't care what color you are. He's been affected by a lot of street things like I have. He looks at a lot of things, and, when you're dealing with youth sports, you get those type of kids that come through those programs. And they depend on us. They depend on us as elected officials to implement programs that gives them the tools that they need to one day replace us. So, when we always say these things, let's always think about, everybody wasn't born with a silver spoon. And I want to commend all my colleagues, because I will say that I think that everybody has bent their lens. So I want to say thank you, and I will be supporting this. Thank you.
I just wanted to tell Councilwoman Shanklin that I appreciate her doing this, and it's very bold, and it's a statement that needed to be said, even though when people are scared to stand up and say it. Because it is time that we hold the parents accountable when the kids are causing the trouble in the neighborhoods. And LMPD can't do it alone, and they need the community to step up. We have to stop complaining and remaining, and it continue that same cycle. I try to tell people all the time, if you're tired of the problems, just don't talk about them. We have to be the change. And we have to look out for our block. We've got to speak up. We've got to work with our neighbors. We have to become part of the community that we live in, and we have to own that. And I just keep going back to, I've lived it in my life, and you've seen it a lot. I met Councilman Syme many years ago when he was a football coach for my son at Farnsley, and I was the team mom. And we took these kids and these boys in, and sometimes they just want someone to hang out to and talk with and eat candy with and share their problems with you. And we did a lot for those boys, and they become your kids in your heart. So I appreciate her doing this, and I would love to support and help and do anything that I can to help go forward with this. Thank you.
JP, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to echo my colleagues that thank you for bringing this forward, Dr. Shanklin. Really excited about the PSAs. I do want to say that while it is a good thing that we are asking parents to be more involved in their kids' lives, that we also need to be providing more support to our community. And when we talk about these root causes of crime and violence, it is very, very easy and very, very cheap for us to offer our advice, our admonishment, our demands, our pleas to parents to be more involved, and our desire that these kids have more in mentorship and positive influences in their lives. I hope that next budget cycle we consider directly, financially, meaningfully, and materially addressing these by providing the resources to do so. Thank you.
Councilman Herndon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank my Councilwoman Shanklin for this and the opportunity to discuss this and to ask parents to do better. But as we vote for this, as I think we all will, I also want to honor the parents who are doing it now. This week, with 2 shootings at the same spot in my district, I've lost count of the number of parents that I've hugged, the number of kids I've talked to, the looks on the faces, the tears in the eyes, and the feeling of fear and desperation, and unfortunately in some cases resignation, that it's just not going to be any different. I think that we have to do everything we can do to make it different, to help those folks that may be single parents, that may have 2 jobs, as Councilman Syme mentioned, to care for their children, well, for our children, even those of us who don't have any, our children, they all are our children. And we need to do better by them through their parents who are trying better. And we need to obviously encourage the parents who aren't doing the job they should be doing to do the job that they need to do for their own kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also thank you, Councilwoman Shanklin. Not all heroes wear capes. Thank you for your bravery in this and your courage in this. I also don't want this body to gloss over my colleague to my left here, comments on the detention center. I think we as a body can get passionate about this and say, you know what, I'm damn mad and I'm not going to take this anymore toward Frankfurt. And just, if anybody would be against that, I want you to defend the stance of a parent or a grandparent that is struggling to keep their kid out of gangs, out of violence. And when that fails, punish that parent or grandparent by ripping their kid away from them and sending them to Bowling Green, so that the parent has an added burden of trying to get that kid back. There's no place like home. Get that detention center here, at home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shanklin, for proposing this. As we've seen from the stories that everybody's told, there are so many layers to what happens in a child's life and what they need to be successful. And one of them certainly is, and I remember this as being a teacher, is holding parents accountable. And then realizing that, as I realized with my parents, I stopped assigning homework, because if the parent's working 2 jobs, they're lucky to come home and do the laundry and provide a meal. So yes, there's a lot of things that our children and our families are struggling with. And yes, accountability to the parents to do your very best to know where your kids are. Fortunately, we have technology that helps us with that more now. But yeah, there's many things that we as a council can help with in making sure that our children have places to go and things to do that are safe and that do put them in contact with people who are good guides for how to become an adult. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to hold back because I'm hungry and Ben is driving me around because I don't have a car. And Dr. Shanklin don't like to be here too long, but I wanted to make sure to give you praise for this work. I am clearly a Gen Xer who raised myself, and but understanding that village, we are all a part of the village, that we have young children from all denominations, all economic classes that are participating in violence, that are committing suicide, that are dealing with so much. And so as we are thinking about this, I want to think about all the families, some of the stories we will never hear of, and I commend you. I'm looking forward to seeing this PSA, and I think that this is another step in the right direction of us working together to show the children that we care. We must embrace them and not be scared of them. And most of them don't need to be locked up. That should be used for extenuating situations. But a great deal of them need to know that there's a village of people who care about them and who have their best needs. And I know you're a part of that. For your toy drives to all the work you've been doing for a long time here. So I just wanted to put that in because all you all started jumping in and I couldn't let that happen sitting next to her. But thank you for your work.
Thank you. Can I make a comment? Oh, Purvis.
I just wanted to say today I subbed for former Councilman Kumar Rashad, who teaches at an alternative school. And so I met a young man for the first time today, and he was sharing his life experiences with me. Both of his parents have served time in prison. He had no other support. He had no one to raise him but a woman that he has identified with as being his grandmother, who is not his biological grandmother. He has realized that his life has taken a turn for the worse, and he's trying his best to correct his steps. He's looking for a job, very articulate, and it was like the moment that I started speaking with this kid, I just fell in love with him. So I know we talk about the parents need to do all they can to make their kids better people, but what do we do when the parents aren't there? We need to figure out something. We need to find a balance, because sometimes everybody doesn't live the life of Wally and Beaver and have June and Ward at home. And so we have to figure out something. It is not fair. Kids are born today and they're already born an adult because they have to figure it out for themselves. And so I just want to say to Councilwoman Shanklin, thank you. I know you're an old school mama, and I know that you wouldn't have anything less than what you're proposing. I know that your kids, you knew where they were at all times, or either they were going to be in trouble. So, yeah. But, I just wanted to make that comment that we can't give up on them. We have to figure out something to keep supporting these kids and make sure that they find quality in friendship. I do see that two of my colleagues in the queue to speak. I was going to make a motion to call question. Nobody's seconding it? Oh, okay. Aye.
In opposition? No. And the chairs and those have it, much to my dismay. Next in my queue is Councilman Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, we've been talking a lot about parental responsibility, and that is very important. And Councilwoman Purvis mentioned Wally and Beaver a minute ago. I don't know how you can hold parents accountable that have provided the Wally and Beaver upbringing and still have kids that go astray. So it's a very complex issue, and I have seen that. I've seen it many times. So, we talk about, and you read a lot on social media, well, we got to punish the parents. We got to punish the parents. I don't see how you can do it. I mean, how do you come up with a system where that's fair to everybody? So I guess what I'm saying is that this is all very laudable, and I thank you very much for doing this, but the situation, the problem is far more complex than just very simple solutions. Thank you.
Councilman Simon, you're the last person I queue, your second time speaking.
I will be the last, and I'll make it fast. But I got to say something about detention and incarceration. Detention and incarceration can actually save your life. It can help you reset your life. There's schooling, there's hospitals, there's gyms. Prison is not the worst thing to happen. And sometimes it can take somebody out of the elements and literally save their lives and help them become a better person. So this notion that no child should be locked up is ridiculous, because some of them need to be locked up to at least have a reset so they don't end up dead or in prison for the rest of their life. Thank you.
Councilman Shanklin, you're the last to speak on this. You have the floor, madam.
Okay, I just want to say, last year, we brought a group of kids here to City Hall, and I got a call yesterday, and the kids want to come back in October. And some of the council people, I know Betsy, different ones, they came down and spoke. And so we're asking anyone that would like to come down and talk to the kids. I think we had Steve Hagg, Marcus, and let me see, who was it? But it was a group of them, and they were so excited about coming here. And so they've asked to come again. So, and we walked them over to City Hall, over to the Metro, to the mayor's office. They got to see the mayor, and they also went to, the safe place where they can look at the cameras all over. So, yeah, so if you're interested in talking to a kid or whatever, they want to come back. And I think they 5th graders this year. And so they actually asked. So we are looking for anyone that want to come down and take them to your office or whatever. Thank you.
No one else in the queue. This is a resolution requires a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, the resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, a reading of item number 44.
An ordinance relating to the amendment to binding elements for property located at 11905 Dixie Highway containing approximately 2.19 acres and being in Louisville Metro case number 25 admin 0001. Right in full.
Item is properly before us. Councilman Owen, this came out of your committee, sir.
Thank you, President Ackerson. This is detailed development district plan on Dixie Highway. It went through a zoning change in 2017 where some binding elements were added, and in this case, they were asking us to remove those binding elements. It was still kind of under consideration and being negotiated until recently. It's in Councilwoman Bass' district, so I don't know if she wants to talk about it first or if Travis, so we'll start with Councilwoman Bass and she can tell us a little bit more about it.
So I'm not exactly sure, but we'd like to submit an amendment. The goal with this development was to see it improve the area in which it was located to help bring better quality of life to South Jefferson County. The property is located on Dixie Highway near Gene Snyder and has been the site of numerous code problems. The change in binding elements comes at the owner's request, and they wanted to bring business to the lot. We listened, and over the past few months, I've been working with Travis of the county attorney's office. We were able to address the concerns, the potential use of the property, given flexibility to improve the property in certain uses. I want to thank Travis for the work he put on this, as well as all those that were involved in on this case that helped along the way. I do support the changes and ask for your vote in support of the amendments of these binding elements. And now I will ask that Attorney Feaster to address the amendment.
Thank you, County Attorney. I apologize in advance. It's a bit of a long one, but it's been a long process, so I will be as quick as I can. After the fourth whereas clause, we're adding one new whereas clause. It would read as follows. Whereas council finds that the complete deletion of binding elements number 10 and 13 will allow for too many intense industrial uses near residentially zoned property and leave too little oversight given the lack of a revised development plan with the present request, but that allowing some M1 uses and updating the council review language to the current version, the version currently in use is appropriate in conjunction with increased landscaping to buffer the newly allowed M1 uses. And the following whereas reads the same with the following clause added to the end of it, with the replacement of modified versions of each binding element rather than the outright deletion, and the addition of a landscape binding element. Section 1 reads the same with an addition at the end, with the addition of the following binding elements. Number 13, the following M1 uses shall be prohibited on site. Indoor paintball ranges, laser tag, heavy truck off-street parking and storage, except for up to no more than 10 total of the following. I, the parking and storage of recreational vehicles and trailers used to haul them in excess of 25 feet. This exception for recreational vehicles does not allow for semi-trucks or their trailers. And or, 2I, the parking of heavy trucks only as an accessory use to a primary use on the property. In those certain accessory use cases, no primary use, whether tenant or owner, is permitted to park more than 2 heavy trucks on the property. This exception for accessory heavy trucks does not allow for semi-trucks or their trailers. Telecommunications hotels, and the use, manufacture, processing, treatment, or storage of the following: adhesives, excluding manufacturing of basic components; blacksmith; button manufacturer, except button blanks from shell; carbon paper and ink ribbons; chemicals, packing only; cleaning and dyeing of garments, hats and rugs; cosmetics or toiletries; electronic measuring instrument and electronic control devices; fur furnishings and fur goods, not including tanning, dyeing; glass products from previously manufactured glass; hat finishing and millinery from straw and other fibers; hair, felt, or feather products; ink or ink ribbon packaging; latex paints, water-based; leather products manufactured, no tanning operations, including shoes, machine belting, and similar products; musical instruments, including pianos and organs; novelty products from prepared materials; pharmaceutical products, compounding only; plastic molding and shaping, excluding manufacture of basic components; scenery construction, stamps, hard, stencils, and brands. A new binding element number 14, To buffer the visual impact of industrial uses on surrounding properties, the applicant owner developers shall work with landscape planning staff to create a landscape plan which will provide additional plantings beyond those required by the Land Development Code along the Dixie Highway frontage and provide a reasonably solid evergreen screen at the rear of the property along the Oral Road unimproved right-of-way. Additionally, the applicant owner developer shall install a four-board horse fence or other similar style along the front of the property near Dixie Highway and install a privacy fence along the rear of the property near Oral Road unimproved right-of-way. And finally, number 15, the standard binding element, any significant increases to the proposed structures, e.g. increases in building height, number of units, number of buildings, any increase in density on the property, any changes in use on the property which directly or indirectly require a public hearing before the Planning Commission or subcommittee thereof, and/or any amendments to the binding elements other than I, the addition of new binding elements, 2I, changes to binding elements that merely update the public hearing date, or 3I, updating a previous version of this binding element to reflect the current language, shall be reviewed before the Planning Commission with final action to be determined by Metro Council. Those are all of the proposed additions. I'm happy to take any questions.
Motion. Second. We've got the proposed amendments before. Any discussion on the proposed amendments? Seeing none. All in favor of the proposed amendments, say aye. Aye. In opposition? In opposition, we now have the amended ordinance before us. Does anyone want to speak to the amended ordinance? As is. Okay. Nobody in the queue to speak to the amended ordinance. This is an ordinance that requires a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Yes. Councilman Piagentini is a yes. Council, thank you. Yes, Councilwoman. Mr. President, you have 25 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, a reading of item number 45.
An ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 7304 Vaughn Mill Road and 7205 Briscoe Lane containing approximately 5.67 acres and being a Louisville Metro case number 24 zone 0131. Read in full.
Items brought before us, Councilman Owen, this came out of your committee.
Thank you, President Atkinson. This is a change in zoning from R4 to PRD. It's located northwest of the Outer Loop and Highview Park, and it calls for 36 single-family lot subdivision. It was passed out of committee unanimously. It is in Council District 23. I'm sure Councilman Hudson would like to speak to it.
Councilman Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This development of single-family homes, there was no opposition from the community at the Planning Commission, and I will be voting yes and would encourage the same. Thank you.
Seeing no one else in the queue, this is an ordinance that requires a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Yes for District 19 and yes for District 17. Councilman, is it not coming up for you?
It's a yes for District 10.
Is it not? There we go. Councilwoman Purvis. It's okay. Mr. President, you have 25 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. Reading item number 46.
An ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 4922 Preston Highway and 1129 and 1131 Rose Drive containing approximately 0.52 acres and being a Louisville Metro case number 25 zone 0036. Read in full.
Items brought before us, Councilman Owen.
Thank you, President Atkinson. This is a change in zoning from C1 to C2. It's located northwest of Gilmore Lane and across from the city of Lynnview. They're proposing to rezone an existing service station into an auto sales business. The proposal calls for a 400 square foot renovation to the existing building and repurposing 18 parking spaces for automobile sales. It passed out of committee unanimously. It's in Councilwoman Rui's district. She probably would like to speak to it.
Councilwoman Rui.
Thank you very much. As noted, this is currently operating as a car sales, and yeah, even though we don't need any more car businesses there, I can't find a legitimate reason to oppose this.
Seeing no one else in the queue, this is a ordinance that requires a roll call vote. Please open the roll.
Councilman Winkler? Yes. Councilman Piagentini is a yes also.
Yes, from 10.
Councilwoman Purvis? Thank you. Councilwoman Parker? Mr. President, you have 25 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, reading of item 47.
Can you help 10 and 18? An ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 113 North Wenzel Street containing approximately 0.04 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 25, zone 0040, read in full.
Items brought before us, Councilman Owen.
Thank you, President Atkinson. This is a change in zoning from R6 to C2 on North Wenzel Street, just north of Main Street. And the applicant's not proposing a construction here, but wants to change the zoning for a commercial use. Came out of the Planning Commission unanimously, came out of committee unanimously. It's in Councilman Herndon's district, and he may want to speak to it.
It's in my district, and I support it.
Seeing no one else in the queue, this is an ordinance requires a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Yes for Councilman Winkler. Councilwoman Parker? Yes. Councilwoman Raymond? Councilman Kramer? Okay, thank you. Mr. President, you have 26 yes votes.
The ordinance is adopted. The next item of business is new business. As you leave the chambers, please do so quietly. New business comprises item 48 through 70. Will the clerk read those into the record and sign to committee?
The following legislation was assigned to Ad Hoc Committee on Efficiency of Boards and Commissions. Item 48 for reintroduction, an ordinance amending the Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government Code of Ordinances, LMCO, Section 40.45, to address board member conflicts of interest. The following legislation was assigned to Appropriations Committee. Item 49, an ordinance appropriating $10,000 from District 4 Neighborhood Development Funds to Brightside, Inc. for 502 Tree and Landscape to perform tree maintenance in District 4. Item 50, an ordinance appropriating $5,000 from Neighborhood Development Funds in the following manner: $5,000 from District 9 through the Office of Management and Budget to the Louisville Academy of Music, Inc. for staffing, guest artists, travel, program expense, marketing, professional development, liability, insurance, and fees for music arrangement. Item 51, an ordinance appropriating $9,030 from District 9 Neighborhood Development Funds through the Brightside, Inc. to Levitt Landscaping for landscaping maintenance and beautification at Grinstead Drive, Lexington Road, Payne Street, and Frankfurt Avenue bus stops. Item 52, an ordinance appropriating $8,500 from Neighborhood Development Funds in the following manner: $2,700 from District 21, $1,300 from District 3, $1,000 each from Districts 4, 13, and 15, and $500 each from Districts 12, 14, and 24 through the Office of Management and Budget to South Louisville Community Ministries for costs associated with the Taste of South Louisville fundraiser event. The following legislation was assigned to Equity, Community Affairs, Housing, Health, and Education Committee. Item 53, an ordinance amending Section 118.10 of Louisville Metro Code of Ordinances, LMCO, regarding local food permits. Item 54, a resolution honoring Elmer Lucille Allen by dedicating the corner of Fairland Place and Winrose Street as Elmer Lucille Allen Way in her honor. The legislation was assigned to Labor and Economic Development Committee. Item 55, a resolution approving the budget and economic improvement plans for Louisville Downtown Management District for the period of January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Item 56, a resolution supporting and encouraging the execution of a renewable energy credit contract to advance Louisville Metro government's goal of 100% clean electricity by 2030. The following legislation was assigned to Parks and Sustainability Committee. A resolution authorizing the mayor to accept $250,000 from the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives, ICLEI, through the Municipal Investment Fund to be administered by the Office of Sustainability. The following legislation was assigned to Planning and Zoning Committee. Item 58, an ordinance relating to the zoning of properties located at 6110.5 Blevins Gap Road and 13001, 13003, and 13015 East Oral Road, containing approximately 41.8 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 23, zone 0108. Item 59, an ordinance relating to the zoning informed district of properties located at 16223, 16301, and 16305 Shelbyville Road and 211 Johnson Road, containing approximately 11.4 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 24, zone 0114. Item 60, an ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 1325 Texas Avenue containing approximately .1387 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 24, zone 0133. Item 61, an ordinance relating to the detailed district development plan and amendment to general plan binding elements for property located at 3714 Lees Lane containing approximately 58.15 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 25 DDP 0046. Item 62, an ordinance relating to the closure of unimproved right-of-way located within the parcel at 1000 East Main Street containing approximately 2,000 square feet and being in Louisville Metro, case number 25 street closure 0006. Item 63, an ordinance relating to the zoning of properties located at 513 and 513R Atwood Street containing approximately .1376 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 25 zone 0018. Item 64, an ordinance relating to the zoning informed district of properties located at 2125 and 2127 Bashford Manor Lane containing approximately .5 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 25 zone 0050. Item 65, an ordinance amending sections 1.2.2, 2.4.1, 2.4.3, 2.4.4, 4.3.22, and Appendix 2A of the Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, regarding financial institutions, case number 25 LDC 0001. Item 66, an ordinance amending sections 1.2.2 and 4.1.2 of the Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, regarding factory-built housing, case number 25 LDC 0005. Item 67, an ordinance amending section 1.1.9 of Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, to extend the expiration date of approved development plans for affordable housing to 5 years, case number 24 LDC 0008. Item 68, an ordinance amending section 11.4.6 of Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, to adopt the alternative regulations for zoning map amendment procedures as outlined in KRS 100.2111, case number 24 LDC 0009. Following legislation is assigned to Public Safety Committee. Item 69, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept $5,000 of funding from the Department of Justice through the Fugitive Task Force FTF grant programs to be administered by the Louisville Metro Department of Corrections. The following legislation was assigned to Public Works Committee. Item 70, an ordinance amending Chapter 156 of Louisville Jefferson County Code of Ordinances, LMCO, relating to the maintenance of sidewalks, read in full.
This concludes our meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 28th, 2025 at 6 p.m. With no further business to discuss, without objection, we stand adjourned.